Okay, before we get into this one, I've had another sticker from Gerard Dubois, better known as Gerard the French Turner. He's a club member of Mud Turning 360. He has an Instagram. Some of his stuff was really nice. I'll put a link down below. And I got a present from one of my subscribers. A set of pen press attachments for the lathe. I got that from Seth at Brickhouse Craftworks. Thank you very much, Seth. Completely unexpected and really appreciated. So thank you very much. I'll put a link to Seth down below. Okay, so now let's get on with this video. Okay, in this video I need a new shop mallet. You can see by my old shop mallet, it's kind of battered and beyond what's funny now. So I'm gonna make a new one, but instead of wood I'm gonna use HDPE. Right, now there's a load of HDPE in here, right, and I'm gonna melt that down into this tin which I'm using as a mold, right, and I've made a pressure thing, whatever you call it, almost like a piston, out of a piece of wood that's really soft. It would take an awful lot of work to actually turn this into anything, so I'm just going to use it for this. Right, so as I said, I'm going to melt down a load of HDPE. I have a load in here. I don't particularly care what it looks like when I'm done, once it's functional. Now I've also to do another one of these for a friend, but that one I'll make nice looking. He wants it for carving. I've done HDPE before, and I'll put a link below to it. I did a pen, but this was a good while ago, and it was back when I wasn't talking in videos. It was one of my silent movies. So basically, right, small oven up to 160 degrees, right, and then it's just a case of throw HDPE into this tin. So I'm not too pushed about what it looks like. So I'm just throwing whatever random colours I happen to have in there into it and put it in the oven. Now, if you're doing this, please be careful. You're working with hot plastic, and wear a pair of heat-proof gloves when you're doing it, which is what these are. These are from my previous career. Right, so I'm just gonna stick it into the oven, let that melt down, and I'm just gonna keep on topping that up until it's the size I want. Then I'm gonna put this piece of wood on top of it and put a load of blocks on top. When I was doing the slimline pen, I didn't have a voice. I do have a voice now, but I've actually found the blocks are better. I think it's because it keeps a constant pressure on the HDPE until it's set, rather than having to crank the voice each time, or having to crank the voice every 30 or 40 seconds. I just think it works better. Right, so there's no point in you watching this stuff melt. So what I'll do is I'll come back when the melt is done and I'm popping it out of the mold. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, and we're back. As you can see, the blank is mounted in the lathe. I know I said I'd come back when I was taking it out of the mold, but there was a slight problem that I can't show on YouTube. When I was taking it out of the mold, I had to pull the can apart, and even though I was wearing leather gloves, it still went through the glove and went through a fair bit of my thumb. Actually, it went about halfway in. So I've got paper stitches and stuff in it. So it's actually a couple of days later. I didn't want to do anything to rip the stitches. As I said, it's just paper stitches in it. But so that's basically the blank that it ended up at, right? So it's between centres at the moment. So what I'm going to do is just going to round it off, and I'm going to cut a tenon in it so I can mount it to drill it out. So the first thing I'm going to do is round it off. And it just goes to prove that no matter how many precautions you take, stuff can still happen. As I said, I had leather gloves on and all, but it's still the edge of the can still got through the glove and into my finger. There's a couple of little voids in this, but I'm not too worried about it. As I said, I'm not too worried about this one because I just want a functional mallet. When I'm doing the one that my friend wants, I'll be worried more about not having voids and stuff in it. Right. Now, square it off and cut a tenon. HDPE actually cuts lovely with turning tools. Right. Now we cut a tenon in this. So quiet when you're cutting this stuff. Doesn't make a sound. What you do have to do with this. Now we'd spin that around and stick it in a chuck. I'll be back then. Right then, it's spun around, it's in the chuck. Now I just want to face there off. And of course, because this is HDPE, there's no grind direction in it. So you can choose to use whatever tool you want to use. That's squared off. Now we'll get to drilling it. I'm going to drill it with a Fastener bit, and I'm going to drill it all the way through. Let's get to drilling this. Because this is plastic, I definitely do not want heat building up in this, because that will snag that bit straight away. Okay, and we're drilled finally. Now, if my measurements were correct, I should just be able to take off that tenon, and there'll be a nice clean hole in it. That tenon should be hollow. So let's grab a knife. See if this cuts off. It does. perfectly. And just trim off the edge, and we have a perfect hole straight through the middle of that, of the handle. Now I want to shape that a little bit, so I need to change chucks. To one that'll hold that on the inside. Now we'll shape this a little bit. Get this out of the way, so I don't stab myself in the elbow. All I really want to do is round over the ends a little bit. Here in the corners, just round over the corners slightly. That's all I really want to do with it. Ooh, static. Static is building up on the bandage. Yeah, that's it. The same on the other end. And that will be the mallet part of this done. This is the case of doing the handle then. There we go. I'll do it. As I said, there's a few voids in this, but for a shop mallet, it'll be perfect. It'll do just fine. And there we have the mallet part of it. Well, the mallet head part of it. Now there's just the handle to do. So we'll grab a piece of wood and do the handle. Right then, how we get this handle done. I have a piece of long grain Acacia in here. So Acacia is tiger. And we're going to turn this into the handle. I have between centers at the moment, but I'll just round it up and stick it in a chuck because it's something I want to do to it. Now, something that I have actually been remiss in pointing out, and it was only when I was watching Mike in a live the other night, this actually popped into my head. Right, you've all heard me saying that and seen me using the helmet, and you've heard me tell you I'm putting the lightweight visor on. But when I'm doing a video and I'm turning, I use these over my glasses, right? Now, I take them on and off frequently. But just as a safety thing, right, that I've been remiss in pointing it out, my apologies, I should have done it before. I wear a pair of safety glasses over my glasses. Right, so as I said, it's something I should have pointed out ages ago and I just forgot to. Right, now as I said, there is a piece of Acacia in this. I'm just going to round it off, and I'm going to stick it in a chuck, and you'll see why I'm sticking it in a chuck in a minute. Right, so let's just get the rounding off. As I said, I'm going to stick this in a chuck. So stick a 10 on one end. Let me throw this into the chuck. Right, and we're in the chuck, and I just gave it a quick rub to make sure it was round, which it is. Now then, I need to make this fit that. Right, so what I want to do is put a mark on it, where that is. Right, that's the depth of the mallet head. Let's double check that. Yeah, that's the depth of the mallet head. Now what I want to do is there, I want to bring down to the diameter of that hole. Right, that's why it's in a chuck, so we can pull that back and slide the mallet over it to just to double check it, just in case. So what I'm going to do is kind of turn it down and creep down on it. Right. So that's the width I need there. So I check that for size. Shouldn't be right. I should have to creep down on it. And I'm keeping the tailstock up because of the length of the piece. The leverage is going to be quite a bit. So it's just a case of trial and error until I get the right size, which is that. Right. That was actually slightly small, but it'll be fine, and you'll see why in a few minutes. I should like to put the tailstock back up there. Yeah, that's it. Now we throw the tailstock back up and bring that down to what it's supposed to be. Right. I've got a skew and a peeling cut for this. Right. Just check that. See, I want a slight ridge there, just to make it look better. No, another tiny bit. said, I'm going to try and kind of sneak up on this to make sure it's a good fit. Yes, that's solid. Now I'm just going to shape the handle. Yeah, a rise in the middle of it there for the palm of my hand. There, that's too wide. Yeah, that's better. That is much better. Right, now we start at the end. A little pummel on it. Fancy that a little bit skinnier up there. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's a much better shape. Okay, detail gouge to sort out this end of it. I'm going to round that a little bit there. There's a little, like a ridge there I don't want. Much better. Much better. There's a ridge just there. Sorry, put my head in the way of the camera there. There's a ridge just there. Right. Yeah, we just sand that and compare it off. And I'll be back when I sand it. Alright, so all I've done with it is I sanded it down to 320 and I Yorkshire gritted it. I'm not going to put a finish on it because it's a functional piece. It's a shop mallet. Any finish apart from maybe a polyurethane is just going to wear off it really quickly. So all I've done is Yorkshire gritted it. Right, now I'm just going to part it off. Slightly too high. Right. tailstock. Right, I'll just sand and finish the bottom of that the way I've shown in all the other videos. Right. And then we'll get to putting it together. Right, and there's the end finished, same way as the rest of it, just down to Yorkshire grit. Now what I want to do is, I'm deliberately left that mark there so that I know where the centre was. What I want to do is I want to cut a slit on the bandsaw about halfway down, right dead centre in this, just like that. Right, that'll go in there, and then what I want to do is I want to drive a wedge in there. Right, but I have to make the wedge first. So get a piece of, I think a beach wedge might look good on there. There's the slit, there's the top of the mallet, there's the wedge. Thin wedge will do it. Right. I'm just going to tap that wedge in there. Another tap. Now we just cut that off and then sand it flat. There. Right. And there we have the finished new shop mallet. Right. Now, the reason I'm using a wedge in there and I'm not gluing the wedge in is the part of a mallet that normally wears out is the head, right? But you can get very used to holding a handle. So this way, all you got to do is chisel that wedge out, or get that wedge back out. The handle will just slip out. You can make a new head, slip it back in, and you keep the same handle. Right, so as I said, it's just that I like to make a new shop mallet, so it's just it's a different way of doing it. If anybody hasn't seen it, done it at HDPE. And as I said, I have to make a nice one of these for somebody, but it'll be done the exact same way. So hope you enjoyed that one, and I'll see you in the next one.